Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I am your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, pretty good. Just tired. Did some shopping all day. The weather don't help.
Oh, dude, I've been sleeping on and off all afternoon.
Yeah, it was actually snowing and sleeting here earlier. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
Yeah, we got out this morning and got ready to go to Outtown. People listening to this won't know, but there was snow and sleet hitting the windshield.
Wow.
Pretty chilly.
Yeah, it was like a cold rain.
Yeah, it was pouring this afternoon, which...
I got caught in it when I went to go get my little guy. Well, before we get started, if anybody wants to check us out on social media, facebook.com/American Sports Connection, or on Twitter at AMSportsCon, Pod, P-O-D, or you could get a hold of Jason on Twitter at AGeekAger, all one word.
Yep, that works.
All right, so what did you think of the games this week?
There was a few good ones, and there was you're going to have stinkers every week, and there was a few of them that didn't look good going in and looked worse after. So we'll get into those, though, for sure.
You better believe it. All right, to start off, we have Dallas hanging on and beating Minnesota last Thursday night, 17-15.
Yeah, it really wasn't that great of a game. It was like a good game till the end, and I mean, I don't know. Bradford threw that touchdown pass to McKinnon late, and then it looked like on the 2-point conversion, Bradford was hit in the head. He took a blow to the head, but it wasn't called. I don't know. I mean, Minnesota had their chance to win this football game throughout the game and just didn't look good again. And Dallas keeps pulling off wins for 11 in a row now. Franchise record, 11 in a row.
I know, it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, Minnesota's defense looked good, though. That's one thing I will say. They did. Prescott to 139 yards passing. Des Bryant had his decent game. And Ezekiel Elliott had a decent game, but he didn't have that, to me, like Ezekiel Elliott takeover, game.
Well, he really had a bad game, and then late in that game, he had like a 30-yard rush to make his stat better.
Yeah, there you go. That explains it. Yeah, Dallas. See, a lot of people have been getting mad because I've been like, I don't really see them as the best team in the NFC, and I personally. I'm a firm believer of you got to win in the playoffs before I believe you're a threat. And this team has really no playoff experience, if you think about it. A couple guys do. Elliott and Prescott have never come close to seeing NFL playoffs. So I'm reserved on them. I think that they are a threat, but I'm not 100% sure what they are going forward in the playoffs, if you know what I mean. I think they can win a game or two, but I still don't know if they're on the level of like a Seattle where I would trust them to win in the playoffs,
Yes. I agree. This was I don't want to say a boring game because it was a defensive battle. And like you said, dude, the Vikings were up for this game.
Yeah, their defense got up. Offensively, the Vikings, to me, they're flat. And it's the offensive line's fault because, they just don't have an offensive line if you think about it. But they hung in here.
And basically, that white receiver cost them this game with that fumble on the punt return.
Yeah, what was his name? Locke, right?
Something like that. His name is escaping me.
Yeah, I believe it's Locke. The white kid, Jeff Locke, I believe is his name. No. What the hell am I talking about? That's their punter's name. I don't remember his name.
It's okay.
His name was it Thielen?
I think so.
The white receiver, yeah, Thielen, Adam Thielen. Let's just go with that.
We'll go with that. All right.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Next, we have in my opinion, the best game of the week. The Chiefs hanging on to beat Atlanta in Atlanta 29-28.
Yeah, hanging on. And the way they won this game was awesome, with Barry picking the ball off on the 2-point conversion and returning it to give the Chiefs back. Because remember, you would text me and you were like, Atlanta just went up. And I was like, yeah. And they just gave it right back.
You're like, no, they're not. They're losing.
Yeah, Barry just took it right back. And dude, man, that guy is great. Eric Barry. He had a pick 6 and a pick 2 in the game.
Yeah, so he had a pick 8.
Yeah, pick 8. There you go. And he's also a cancer survivor, which is even great.
Yeah,
makes him even more of a great story.
Now Kansas City opened up the checkbook for him.
Yeah, see, here's the thing I got about this too. A lot of people now are like, "Oh, Atlanta, here's the Atlanta." No, Atlanta looked good in this game. They did not look bad. They just got beat by a team that I have numerous times said cannot, for some reason, be beat in November and December. The Kansas City Chiefs under Andy Reid.
Jones got hurt in this game.
Yeah, I didn't see the severity of his injury. How is it? Because he had a big game before he went down.
I heard he has I think it was a turf toe.
Turf toe. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's expected to be fine. That's what I just read as you said that.
It's because they actually took him out in portions of this game late, and Mohamed Sanu got hurt late in this game.
Yeah. The thing about this game is I hate to say it, but Matt Ryan cost them the game because that bad throw.
Two bad plays, the pick 6 and the other one that he returned on the 2-pointer.
Yeah, the pick 2. We'll just call it a pick 2, I guess. That works, right?
That's basically the game, those 2 throws.
Yeah, and I mean, if you watch the replay of the pick 2, Barry just baited him. He was waiting for it, and as soon as Ryan's arm went back, Barry made his jump on the ball. He knew it was coming. It's almost like they practiced against that 2-point conversion this week, the exact play. Maybe they did, because it might just be a goal line play that the Falcons use.
It's very possible. But either way, it was an exciting game.
Yeah, game of the week, as you said, for sure. I can't think of any other game that matched up with it.
No. All right, next. This game, I think, was the shocker of the week. The Lions going down into New Orleans and beating up on the Saints. Actually, not allowing a touchdown pass by Drew Brees for the first time since 2009. Yeah,
that was, and picked him off 3 times, too.
Yes.
Hey, look, I texted you during that game, and you know what I said. Maybe the Lions are for real. Because when that game was over, I was like, holy crap. The Lions look like, and they did it on the road, too, in New Orleans, like you said. And, hey, the Saints might not be a great team, but offensively, they have really yet to be shut down. Now they have.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, now they've been shut down. The Lions' defense should a feather in their cap and wear it, because they did something this year that has been very hard to do. Not just slowing down Breeze, shut him down. 3 picks, nothing.
I'm going to ask you a question, because I looked at his numbers, and with the way their record is now, does Matt Stafford start getting a little MVP love?
Man, that's a good question. And you know what? I have to say, I got to say yes, dude. He's got great numbers.
Year.
Yeah, and like we said before, you've pointed that out before, and it's without Megatron. He's on pace for a career year right now. Like, if he has a couple maybe not, no. I just looked at it. 2011, he had 5,000 yards and 41 touchdown passes. Efficiency-wise, this actually is a career year. He's got his highest completion percentage and his highest quarterback rating in his career.
Yeah, and he's thrown for over 3,000 yards, and his TD to interception ratio is 4-1.
4-1, yeah. Man, yes. Yeah, he gets MVP consideration right now, yes, especially with the way that team's in first place and rebounding after some tough losses, because they were, 0-2 with 2 close losses, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Stafford's definitely in the conversation, man.
I agree with you. All right, moving on, we have the Patriots thumping the Rams 26-10.
Yeah, this game, I don't think there's too much to say about this game. Tom Brady breaks the win record by quarterbacks in the NFL. What's a 201st career victory now for Brady? I mean, it's ho-hum for him. They put this game away early, man. LeGarrette Blount, big touchdown run. Brady to Hogan, who all of a sudden is their new big, stud receiver somehow.
He's like like the new Wes Welker.
Yeah, and then defense and Gostowski, whatever, put it away. The thing that I saw in this game is Jared Goff is. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of help on the line and stuff, but he didn't look that great. But he shows signs of being a really good quarterback at times. And once he shakes off, I'm sure jitters and, sitting on the bench for 10 games this year or whatever, rust, he'll be good, man.
I was going to say, that's what the Patriots usually do this to veteran quarterbacks, let alone rookies.
Oh, yeah. And I think going forward and going into this game on Sunday, my biggest thing that I was watching was I wanted to see how Goff was going to play. I didn't think this game would be competitive, which it really wasn't. And it really wasn't exciting at all because, what did Gostowski make 4 field goals after they scored their first 2 touchdowns?
Yes.
Which he's like almost Mr. Automatic. He's like Vinatieri 2.0 out there for New England. I don't really have much else about this game. Brady breaks the wins record. Goff, so-so, but, and I don't understand how Jeff Fisher keeps getting extensions and stuff and gets to stay. But
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Denver surviving against Jacksonville 20-10.
Yeah, my biggest thing with this game is I told my buddy Andy, who's a big Broncos fan, don't worry. Bortles will throw you a football game. And what's he do in the third quarter? Pick 6 by Bradley Roby, 51-yard return, 17-3. Basically game over. I mean, Bortles ran a ball in, which he didn't throw it in for a touchdown. You noticed that? Yeah, Bortles is a junk time NFL MVP. The only problem is when the game's close, he's a dud.
I actually have there's a nickname a buddy of mine gave him. It's the Human Victory Cigar. When you see Bortles play, it's usually you're going to win.
Hey, you know what? That makes sense. I'll stick with it. Yep, fire up a Bortles, let's go. Or spark up a Bortles, let's go.
Yeah, there you
Game
go.
over.
But
yep.
It was actually the perfect timing for Paxton Lynch to play where he didn't have to be like Superman, against Jacksonville.
Yeah, because he looks like shit.
He looks terrible.
For lack of a better phrase, he looks like shit.
You're being kind.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to really say about this one. So
what did you say? Wait, I'm being fined?
No, kind.
Oh, I thought you said I'm being fined. I was going to say fine. What's the penalty if I can't pay? I have to watch Paxton Lynch play?
Yeah.
Either him or Bortles in a close game?
That's funny.
If you want good quarterback work, don't watch the replay of that football game.
Yeah, I will definitely not watch it. All right, moving on, we have the Packers hanging on against the Texans in the snow, 21-13.
Yeah, this game, man. Brock Osweiler, man. I don't know.
He looks like
I just don't know.
Down as one of the top 10 worst free agent signings.
I'll give him time. I mean, he's in a new system, a new coach, all that bullshit, but I don't know. I just can't get behind this guy. He just looks like Paxton Lynch before Paxton Lynch.
He should be happy Denver didn't pony up for him.
Oh God, I remember when he heard the money that Osweiler might get, he was like begging Denver not to sign him, and and thankfully for him and them, they didn't, because what he ended up getting, 72 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah, game over for.
At first, he said Brock Osweiler was the biggest quarterback dud this year, and then he says, "No, I changed it. It's Brock Osweiler."
Yeah.
I mean,
Osweiler's
especially
not
considering the talent they have.
Yeah. I mean, he has a stud receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. He has like 2 more good receivers, and I mean, come on, the guy is just like. He's goofy. That's the best way I can put it. When you watch him play, it's like Benny Hill's theme should be playing sometimes.
Yeah. It's just, this was a weird game because it was in the elements, but I at least give the Texans credit for hanging around, but they're in big trouble.
Yeah, they are, man. If they do win that division, they're a one and done, I think, because right now they're tied with 2 teams, the Colts and the Titans.
Yeah.
They're all 6-6. You have a 500 win percentage team log jam at the top of that division. Like the AFC West has a log jam up top right now, kinda, but it ain't
It's not
the
AFC 6 log jam.
Yeah, the AFC South log jam is like turds in a toilet log jam.
Yeah. Oh man! All right.
Somebody get the plunger.
Yeah, really. Now, moving on, we got to talk about the Bengals throttling the Eagles 32-14.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say much about this game. The Eagles didn't show up at all.
And it was
at all.
It was an embarrassment.
This game started to remind me of the Thanksgiving Day game last year. It really started to remind me, like, are the Eagles quitting on another coach this year or what?
I will say this. I actually thought the defense quit. I thought, like, Wentz and them continued to try to play hard.
Yeah, I just, my issue is I don't know if the defense quit or are the corners just that bad. That would be the big question.
Yeah, I was just really annoyed with this game because it's like you're making AJ Green look like, or not AJ Green, excuse me, Andy Dalton look like Joe Montana without AJ Green.
Yeah, our corners are pathetic, man. Like
Jalen Miller,
I really don't even
one that's
know.
any good.
Yeah, and he's just a young kid, rookie. So it's just rough, man. Like our secondary just totally broke down.
Yeah, it was utter embarrassment. I mean, I don't know what else to really say, but it was an utter embarrassment.
It's the first Eagles game that I've turned off since last Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, I turned it off at the half. I was done.
Oh, wow.
26-0 at the half. I was done, and I'm not usually like that. I'll try to find. It wasn't 23-6 at the half. Yeah, it was 19-0 at the half. It was 26 to zip late, just early in the second half. I turned it off after that touchdown. I was done.
Yeah, I don't have much else about this, so we'll just move on.
Yep.
Next we have the Ravens demolishing Miami 38-6.
Yeah, this game surprised me. I thought, and it was funny that I crack on the Ravens vanilla offense and
then boom,
they're boring, and then they come out and they put up 496 total yards, and they look like the friggin' did they body switch with the Saints because they look like each other? The Saints look like the Ravens in this game, and the Ravens look like the Saints.
Yeah, it was crazy. I expected Baltimore to win, but I didn't expect them to blow them off the field like that. Dear God.
Hey, kudos to them. They needed a big win, and they got a big win, and it was in a big fashion. So
yeah, they came out and delivered.
It's coming down to them at Pittsburgh. That's going to be the game that decides that division, in my opinion.
Yeah,
7-5 teams. Yeah, or maybe if one of them plays Cleveland and the other doesn't, that team's going to win the division. I think Pittsburgh still plays Cleveland, and I think Baltimore still does too. But
I know all three still do, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't a good game though.
No.
I mean, the Dolphins laid an egg.
Pretty much. All right.
Yeah.
Next.
Real quick. What is it? Baltimore 6 wins in a row now. No. Baltimore ended the Dolphins 6-game winning streak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I had it mixed up there.
No, you're fine. The Bears next get a win over the 49ers easily 26-6.
Yeah, another snow game too. Decent amount of snow there. Bears scored nothing basically until late in the second half, and then they explode. Jordan Howard, he's starting to look like he could possibly be like a franchise type running back. I don't know if you agree.
He's your lone bright spot on offense.
Yeah, he looks good, man. Well, the Bellamy kid's not bad. The receiver, they just don't have a quarterback.
That should change after this offseason.
Yeah, because they should be drafting about number 2 and getting someone. Maybe the kid from Notre Dame, Deshaun Kaiser. I don't know how high he's going to go, but we'll see.
Yeah, nothing else to really say about this one, so we'll move on. The Raiders winning at home against Buffalo in a shootout, 38-24.
Yeah, this was the game that I think it changed when LaShawn McCoy got hurt. Because wasn't it? It was a good game, and then McCoy got hurt, and then they couldn't move the ball, and the Raiders took over. Yeah, everybody said it looked like he broke his leg.
No, I didn't know what happened because he just kind of like laid there in a heap, and then the broadcast came on and said no, he had a cramp, and then they showed him like on the bike.
Yeah, I had 3 people text me and told me that he broke his leg. They were like, "Oh, it looked like the bone came out," and I was like, "How can a broken bone out of your leg look like a cramp?" I don't know.
Well, and my whole thing is if the dude did have a broken bone come out of his leg, there's no way they're going to let him walk off the field.
Yeah. That's what I didn't get either. I'm like, he's on the sideline loosening up. He doesn't have a broken leg. But, man, he was having a big game, 130 yards rushing until that. Well, he had 191 total yards until the injury, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when the game changed. Look, I've been arguing with people the last 3 days now, 2 days, 3 days now. Everybody keeps saying, like, I picked the Raiders to win preseason. I picked the Raiders to win the division. You can attest to that I did say that I think the Raiders were going to win the West. I also said I'm not 100% sure that the Raiders were the best team in the West in the playoffs, because the thing I said about Dallas also goes to the Raiders. They are not playoff tested. They don't have the experience, and you don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs. And I don't know if they're that great of a team. They have a great offense. But when you get a team that can throw defense at them in a big setting, what's going to happen to them? You know what I mean?
And they're about to get some more help on their defense.
Yes.
But Aldon Smith is probably going to be reinstated at some point in the next week or two.
Yeah, so they're possibly going to get help on their defense because he hasn't played in a while.
Well,
so we don't know.
Kid, Mario Edwards, I think is his name. He's another pass rusher that got hurt for them late last season. Is supposed to be coming back in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and can we agree that Khalil Mack is the defensive MVP this year?
Oh, he's a beast.
That guy's a beast. Imagine how bad their defense would be if they didn't have him. Yeah. Because Bruce Irvin is good, but Bruce Irvin isn't Khalil Mack good, in my opinion.
Well, and Khalil Mack always, it seems, makes the big play when you absolutely need it.
Yep, and that's why he's the defensive MVP, in my opinion. Right there. You just said exactly why. His stats, what he's done, and that big playability. He reminds me a lot of like an old Brian Urlacher back when he was just dominant. Yeah. And if it was like a 3-point game and a team was driving, Urlacher found a way to either intercept the ball or force a fumble or a big sack or a fourth down big tackle. Yeah, and that's Khalil Mack right there. Khalil Mack reminds me of, like, I'm trying to think of a guy who he would be more suited to say.
Bruce Smith?
Bruce, nah, yeah, maybe, but man, Mac is he's a Mac truck.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, next we have the Steelers hanging on to beat the Giants 24-14.
Yeah, they played. Lawrence Timmons had a big interception. The Steelers played really well on defense on Sunday. They look like the Steelers team that you expected to kind of see the last month or so.
It's almost like they're like, we're not fucking around anymore.
Yeah, they definitely they're starting to. I think they're starting. They smell blood in that division now, and I think they're going to end up. They're going to win that division. I think. And Pittsburgh,
dude, if they get in, they are the most dangerous team in the postseason.
In the AFC, absolutely. Because I think Seattle might be a little more dangerous than them in the NFC. Because Seattle's starting to find their offensive groove too, and that's when Seattle gets scary. Even though we'll get to a guy they lost the other night, but we'll get to that. Pittsburgh, man, they have the ability to play some grinding hard defense, and then they have that guy named Le'Veon Bell who can just put games away.
Yeah.
And they also have Ladarius Green looking healthy again, which is even more deadly because when you add Antonio Brown and Rodgers and Jesse James, and then Ladarius Green's threat too, which is great to see him back from migraines because they can just be a debilitating thing especially for an NFL player.
Yep.
It's great to see him back healthy because I know there was a question that there was career-ending questions
for him. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh, they came out early and they thumped them pretty good early. Like their defense was great. The Giants they never got back into this game, in my opinion. It was 14-7 at one point, and then when the Giants scored the last touchdown to make it 14-24, it was 25 seconds left in the game or something. The game was over. But kudos to Pittsburgh, man. They look like they may be kicking it into gear, and you kind of had the feeling that it was going to come because they have so much experience, so many veterans that they know how to win when they need to win.
I agree completely. All right, moving on, we have Arizona hanging on in a shootout between them and the Redskins, 31-23.
Yeah, my Cardinals, baby. I picked them again, and they finally won.
They finally showed up.
It only took me 5 weeks to get a win from the Cardinals.
That's funny.
You know what, man? I think this game kind of showed you how much of a threat that the Redskins are not. Lack thereof would be the best way to say it. Because they kind of just, the game was tight, and then their defense just folded in the second half. Yep. Almost embarrassingly bad. It seemed like Carson Palmer was just shredding them late in the game.
Yeah, because they had the lead going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they were up, 20-17. And then Carson Palmer to David Johnson, Carson Palmer to J.J. Nelson earlier in the third, Carson Palmer to Michael Floyd. It was like Carson Palmer and the Cardinals just totally came out, looked like a different team. And that's going to be I think Washington will maybe make the playoffs, but I think they're going to run into a division team at home, possibly Atlanta or someone like that, or
the Lions.
Who else? Possibly Detroit, yeah. And I don't have faith in Washington. You know what? Washington actually might not be making the playoffs now. I just saw their record. They're behind Tampa now.
Yeah, we'll get into
Tampa
that.
And Atlanta.
It's funny you mention that because that's the next game I was going to. Tampa hanging on and beating the Chargers 28-21.
That's what you call a smooth transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Tampa's winning football games. More power to them, man. And they have a good kicker, I guess, that Agoyo dude or whatever. And San Diego. Melvin Gordon's having a good year for them. They're going to be in the market for a quarterback, I think, now. I think San Diego needs a rebuild, in my opinion. A lot of people might disagree, but I think they need to start thinking about adding to Melvin Gordon with another quarterback. Because Rivers is like 35, 36 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, his career is at the very end. The hourglass, the 90% of the sand is in the bottom of his hourglass. I'll put it like that.
I'll give you a stat for this game. In the last 3 weeks, Tampa Bay's defense is number 1 in the league in points allowed per game.
Number 1 in points allowed per game?
Yeah, since week 10.
Since week 10, Tampa Bay's defense is number 1 in the league in points allowed, meaning they've allowed the least amount of points because they only gave up 5 to Seattle.
Yeah.
And they only gave up 17 to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's good. I'll buy it. They've looked good.
They're starting to figure it out. And the season ended today. They're the last wild card team.
Yeah, would they be the last wild card team? Because I know them and Atlanta have the same record now.
Ooh.
So they're in a tie for the division.
It was Tampa.
They're in the playoffs right now. Not sure how the division would go because they are tied with Atlanta for the division by record, but not by tiebreaker.
Correct.
Yeah, so hey, kudos to them, man, because they look bad early. Jameis Winston looked bad early, and they're a lot like Detroit right now. They're a team that I think you have to start looking at and saying, man, they could possibly hurt someone in the playoffs. Not hurt them like physically, but knock them out.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. All right, next we have the Sunday night game, which was the beatdown. Seattle gave Carolina 40-7.
Yeah, can I say something about not just this game, but as a whole? I've had 3 or 4 people tell me the last 2 days that they need some better scheduling on Sunday night. Listen, coming into the football season, this game should have been a great game. The NFL does not have predicted that Carolina was going to stink because they're a Super Bowl team. They're the defending NFC champions. Seattle right now are possibly the best team in the NFC. This game should have been a great game. The NFL cannot prevent that,
Exactly.
They probably should have flexed another game to this spot, like maybe Pittsburgh and the Giants, or
even the Redskins and the Cardinals.
The Redskins and maybe the Redskins and the Cardinals. I was thinking possibly Buffalo and Oakland, but Oakland's been on primetime a lot lately, right?
Yeah.
Hell, even Detroit and New Orleans could have possibly been a good game to flex because we couldn't have predicted that it was going to be that kind of shutdown on Breeze. But at Kansas City and Atlanta, too. I forgot about that one. Best game of the week. Could have been a primetime game. But listen.
It's just a complete beatdown.
Yeah, this was, I think, Seattle's statement. This was a statement from them. Thomas Rawls looks like... Now you see why they released Christian Michael. The people, I think, now can see why Christian Michael was given his walking papers. Because...
And, Lockett with the big game.
Yeah, Lockett with the big run, touchdown, and everything. Yeah, man, listen. Seattle knows how to win football games to get to the big dance, to the playoffs. And they're starting to really do it now. If you look back on their schedule, man, like Tampa Bay is... After what I saw on Sunday night, I think Tampa Bay may be stronger than we thought. Because they held Seattle to 5 points.
Yeah.
And... Seattle's 8-3-1 now.
And this is just my opinion, that Seattle and Dallas are on like a collision course to meet in the title game.
Absolutely. And the only thing that may help Dallas is the fact that it looks like it's going to be in Dallas because Seattle's 6-0 at home this year. And Dallas hasn't lost a game at home since opening week.
Right.
when they lost to the Giants.
For those,
Dallas hasn't lost a game since opening week.
Plus, for people that have been under a rock, Earl Thomas got hurt in this game, and now he's out for the season. He broke his leg.
Yeah, he is officially placed on season-ending IR. Listen, he's not playing this year. His 2016 and 17 early playoffs is over. All playoffs is over.
Which
you will
is
not see
gigantic loss.
You will not see Earl Thomas back on the football field. Maybe because he kind of talked about retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. I think that was a heat of the moment thing he tweeted out there. When you're laying on a table with a broken leg, you're gonna have some emotions and feelings you don't mean. Listen, he is done, and they signed. They brought in Jerome Johnson today, who had his first 4 years with Seattle, so he's accustomed to their defense, their scheme, and everything.
So
and he's not that bad of a player.
Right in. Not that he's going to make the kind of impact that Earl Thomas can, but at least he's familiar with it.
Oh no, he's nowhere near Earl Thomas. And listen now, Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor are the best two safeties in football. I don't think there's any doubting it. It's a big loss for them, man. I mean, they have the other guys in that secondary to continue to shut teams down with, but we'll see. We'll see.
I agree. Next, we got to go to, and last, is last night's game. The other beat down, the Colts beating up on the Jets 41-10.
Yeah, I think this was Andrew Luck and the Colts' way of saying, let's wait a second before you talk about us being out of it. Because, what happens?
They start winning.
Yeah, he destroys. He dismantled them, dude. He totally dismantled the Jets secondary. Jets secondary, by the way, has Darrelle Revis in it, which, I mean, Revis has taken a step back. Maybe a big step back.
I've also read reports that he's going to retire at the end of the year.
It's possible. I don't think so because he just announced that he's representing himself now. So I think he's going to try to score maybe one more big year and then call it quits. Make sure he financially, which he should already be financially stable. The guy's made like $100 million in his NFL career.
Maybe it would be in his best interest to do what Rod Woodson did and switch to safety.
I don't know if he has the physicality to do it that Rod Woodson had, and that like a Charles Woodson had. We'll see. It's possible. Hey,
listen, because he could probably get another 3 years maybe out of him.
Yeah, do the Oakland Raiders need a safety? Because he'd be the perfect guy to go out there and be a safety.
I don't think so, because they got that Carl Joseph they drafted, and then Reggie Nelson.
And Nate Allen playing the best football of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Colts aren't out of it. The Jets are out of it. It's the Bryce Petty time in New York. Whatever,
Yeah. So all you Eagles fans out there that want to complain about how the Eagles look, just think you could be the Jets.
Listen, if the Eagles fans want to see what bad is, watch the San Francisco 49ers. Watch the Cleveland Browns. That's bad football. The Eagles are playing below average, mistake-ridden football. I don't think this Eagles team is a bad team. They just have glaring needs and spots where you can't have glaring needs. Corner and wide receiver. Mm-hmm. If you put some decent corners and decent wide receivers on this Eagles football team right now, they're fighting for a playoff spot. That's just my opinion. I'm biased, obviously, because I'm an Eagles fan for over 20 years. But if you put some decent cornerback and decent wide receiver play on this team, the Eagles would still be fighting for a playoff spot right now with Tampa and whoever else.
Yeah. All right. Before we get to our picks, how did we do this past week?
All right, let's go. I guaranteed an undefeated week. Well, I didn't guarantee it. I just, in joke, said it, and it didn't happen. Let me see. We both actually, let me see. All right. I forgot to mark off a loss we had last night. Let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 5 losses, and I'll tell you what they were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you had 7, so I closed my gap behind you a little bit. All right, here we go. You ready?
Yes.
We both had Dallas over Minnesota. You picked the Eagles. I picked Cincinnati. We both had Atlanta losing to Kansas City. I had San Francisco. You had Chicago. That's a loss. You got the win on that one. We both had Green Bay. We both had New England over their 2 teams they beat. We both had New Orleans beating Detroit. We lost that one. We both had Denver, and I believe that was our locks of the week right there, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We both had Miami losing to Baltimore. We both had Oakland beating Buffalo. I had Arizona finally winning a game for me, and you had Washington. I had Pittsburgh. You had the Giants. The Giants ended up losing that one. We both had Tampa. We both had Seattle. I gave you too many losses. I'm sorry. You had New England. You had 6 losses. Or you had Indianapolis. You had 6 losses this week. Sorry about that. I had the Jets. So it was 6-5. I beat you by 1 far cry from my perfect week that I predicted. But guess what? I'll turn the page and we have this week that I might be able to do it on.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Thursday night, game of the week. I think we're getting it right out of the way. Oakland at Kansas City.
This one's a flip of... I'm going to go with Oakland.
I'm taking the Andy Reid December-coached home team Kansas City Chiefs with the upset to make that division even tighter.
Yeah, because if they win, then they have the number 1 seed.
I believe you're right.
Because the Chiefs already beat them in Oakland earlier this season.
Yep. All right. Washington at Philadelphia.
Ugh.
I can't pick the Eagles. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, the way the Redskins play offensively, I have to take the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's another week of like Cincinnati. I think the Eagles just can't stop them now. Defensively, I don't trust the Eagles secondary anymore, and I'm gonna go with Washington in this one to win. I think Washington, they're a desperate team, man. They really need a win this week, and I think they're gonna get it. And it sucks because it's at Philadelphia, but all right, we'll move on. Pittsburgh at Buffalo.
I'm taking Pittsburgh. It looks like they finally, woke up and they're getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, I'm taking Pittsburgh to run the table the rest of this regular season, by the way.
Okay, cool.
So I'm obviously taking them this week. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's see. Cincinnati at Cleveland.
Here's your lock of the week. Cincinnati.
Cincinnati? All right, I'll go with Cincinnati as well. We'll move on past that one, I guess. Chicago at the Detroit Lions.
Detroit.
I agree on that one. Denver at Tennessee.
This
is a tough one.
Simeons is scheduled to play?
I believe he is on track to play this week.
If he's going to play, I'm taking Denver.
Okay, so I'll write that down as Denver, and I'm going to stick with Denver too. Hey, I think, and this is a toss-up. I'm not as sure. I think Denver may run the table for the rest of the season as well. I think I'm just totally predicting Pittsburgh's going to do it. That's all. I'm almost at the rest of the regular season, and I think Denver maybe has 1 loss left in them, but I'm going to say they're going to run the table as well the rest of the season. Okay. Denver and Pittsburgh, and they're going to play each other in the AFC Championship game.
That would be fun.
All right, Houston at the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm going to take the Colts for the simple reason Houston, I think, has only won 1 game there since they became a franchise.
I agree with you on that one. I'm taking the Colts. I think Luck is back. I think that team is really desperate to win football games right now. Pagano, I think's job is on the line more so than O'Brien's in Houston or whatever. I don't know. The Colts seem to have a way of winning in December as well, and I think they're going to win this football game. Arizona at Miami. This game intrigues me because Arizona had a big win this week, and Miami needs a big win. With that said, I'm going with Arizona.
I'm going Miami for 2 reasons. One, because of the incredibly hot weather that they usually have down there. And 2, a West Coast team coming to play a 1 o'clock game, which is usually, those teams usually really struggle.
Yeah, I can agree with you. Who did Arizona play this week? Last week?
Atlanta. Or no, I'm sorry. The Redskins.
Oh, it was in Arizona. Yeah, I'm sticking with Arizona. I'm going to try to get that 2 week in a row Arizona victory.
Yeah, there you go.
It's going to bite me on the ass. New Orleans at Tampa Bay.
Ooh. I'm going to go Tampa.
I am going to go with Drew Brees coming off of a 0 touchdown, 3 interception game. And I think he's going to have a huge day. So I'm taking New Orleans. And here's a who gives a shit game. San Diego at Carolina.
San Diego.
All right, I'll take Carolina just for shits and giggles. I don't even care about that game, really. I'm not even going to say anything about it.
Yeah.
Minnesota at Jacksonville.
Minnesota.
Yeah, too much defense for Bortles. The victory cigar is going to get sparked up again.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier. Here's another one. The Jets at San Francisco.
I guess I'll go with the Jets just because they supposedly have a better defense.
I'll take the Jets as well. I don't want no part of that 49ers team. Seattle at Green Bay.
Here's another statement game. Seattle, I think, is going to put a hurting on Green Bay.
I got you another one, too. Seattle is going to win out the rest of the season. So I have, unless one of these teams probably plays each other, and I'm going to get boned in there.
Yeah.
Seattle wins out, Pittsburgh wins out, Denver possibly. All right, Atlanta at the Rams. See, this game to me is a rough game to pick. West Coast home game against an East Coast team. Rams they have a decent defense. Atlanta needs a win.
I'm going to take Atlanta just because I can't really trust the Rams to put up enough offensively.
I agree with you on that one. I'm going with Atlanta, but a lot of signs point toward possibly a trap game for the Falcons right now. To me, this is the second best game of the week behind Oakland and Kansas City. Dallas at the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football.
I'm taking the Giants for the simple fact this is basically their season. They have to win this game.
Yeah, they lost at Pittsburgh. They really needed to keep Washington at an arm's length. I'm going to agree. I think Dallas is due for a loss. They've been flirting with them the last few weeks, and I think they're finally going to get one. And it's more out of the Giants' desperation than anything.
Yeah.
And the Giants beat the Cowboys. Let's be honest, man. The Giants can beat the Cowboys. They're the only team to beat them this year. Granted, it was week 1. It's not me ripping Dallas or anything or downplaying how good they are. I just think the Giants need the game more, and I think it's going to be rough for Dallas to go in and win because they're kind of, falling into that spot where, like, man, they're in such cruise control. When is someone going to come and knock them off, And it could be good for Dallas to lose this game going forward. Exactly. You don't want to get too comfortable. Look at the 16-0, undefeated, 18-0 Patriots going into the Super Bowl. Look what the Giants did to them. I didn't think the Giants had any chance of winning that game, and I sat there and watched that game with you, and we were both like, "Oh shit!" Yeah. All right, Giants. Monday Night Football. This is another good game to me. Not as good as the other two, the Oakland, Kansas City, and the Dallas, New York game. But I think these are two teams that really needs wins. One, possibly for home field in the AFC. The other to just get in. Baltimore and New England.
Where is it at New England?
It's at Foxborough, yes.
I will go with the Patriots just because they're very difficult to beat at home.
I agree. I think they do enough on the and I think that New England's receiver match up very well against Baltimore's kind of aging defense.
Found a guy that's going to be good that they drafted, that Mitchell.
Yeah. I agree. I think I think Gronk's loss of Gronk is going to hurt them more come playoff time.
Yeah, I agree.
Because look, a lot of people have been saying, like, New England, they need Gronk for that, ball and everything. Listen, New England's offense is a built-in ball control. Short dump passes. The receivers are very elusive. They get away from tackles. They make people miss. First contact usually does not bring the guys down because they're just so shifty and greasy. You know what I mean? They're like water bugs. They get away quick, and then they pound you with LeGarrette Blount, and they have healthy running backs now, the Patriots. Deion Lewis is back, and what's the other guy's name? James White, right, is back. New England is healthy other than Gronk, and we know what New England can do. I think it's a possibility, too, that New England wins out.
Yeah, they're tough to beat. I agree with that.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Actually, I do have one more. I got one more thing to say. Where's the questions from Lance been? Where's he at?
I don't know.
Okay. Who cares, right? Well, I mean, I care. That sounded rude, but
he's just messing.
I like the questions.
Yeah.
I like the question.
All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up, all that good shit. And we'll see you back next week. Have a good night, everybody.